Hello everyone, my name is Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can tell, I'm barefaced. I'm going to be doing the makeup and books tag because I'm about to go out to dinner with my family to celebrate me getting a job and I need to do my makeup nice, so I figured might as well film a tag while I'm at it. So I guess this is like combination beauty guru booktube thing, and I love doing makeup, so I'm really excited to talk about some books but also do my makeup nice. And this is going to be the look I'm going to try and do on my eyes. But it's like gold on the top and purple on the bottom. So the first step is primer, and for that I'm using Bare Minerals Primetime Original Foundation Primer, and this is actually a sample that I got. Usually I use Smashbox stuff, but I'm out and I got the sample and I use Bare Minerals foundation, so So for primer, the question is pick a book that made a lasting impression, and for this one it's The Savage Song by V.E. Schwab. It's about this world where your sins basically manifest into real life monsters, and there's a monster that wants to be a human, and I think it just has some really interesting themes of exploring what does it mean to be evil, what does it mean to be human, and I just love V.E. Schwab's writing. I mean, she's one of my favorite authors. So this one definitely is a really cool world too. Like, it was almost like a dystopian fantasy. So I just thought that it was really well done, and it really made me think about what does it mean to be evil. Next up we have concealer. So this one is pick a character that you wish you could get rid of. So for this one, I'm definitely gonna go with Gale from The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I never liked Gale. I always thought that he just kind of sucked. Like, yeah, he was like the best friend, secondary love interest or whatever, but like, I don't know. Okay, also for this one, I'm using Bare Minerals Bare Skin Concealer, Complete Coverage Serum Concealer in Light. Next question for foundation is pick your favorite first book in a series. And for this one, I used the Bare Minerals Matte Foundation. I've been using this foundation since I was 14 and first started learning how to do makeup, and I've tried other stuff throughout the years, but I just really love the powder foundation. And I have the really cool brush that's like synthetic. So for this one, it's pick your favorite first book in a series. I definitely have to go with The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I was really taken aback by how much I liked this first book, and I mean, it's the only book I've read in the series so far because The Wicked King doesn't come out till January 2019, but it just used a lot of traditional fairy elements. They're very like mischievous, and I guess they're more how they're traditionally portrayed versus like in Sarah J. Maas's books. They're basically just kind of like have human tendencies but have like mad skills and stuff, and so they're like really mischievous and all that. And Jude, our main character, is such a badass, and her character really takes a turn, and it's just so different from the typical heroine in a series, and I am just a big fan of it, and I'm really intrigued to see where it goes, because there was just twists and turns, and like things are gonna happen, and like I just don't know what's gonna happen in The Wicked King, and I wish I had an arc of it, but I do not, so I have to wait till January to like the rest of everyone else. So powder, I used the Laura Mercier powder, and I just started using this and I really like it. So for powders, pick your favorite last book in a series, and for this one I definitely have to go with Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I feel like it would be a crime not to pick this book, and I think that's just because Harry Potter was the defining series that I read of my childhood. I started reading them when I was 7, and Deathly Hallows came out in 2007 when I was 12. And I remember going to the bookstore and like getting it, and I just feel like it was the first ever series that I read where it had this really long and intricate build up to the ending point, and I feel like the payoff was so worth it, and just like the lessons that you learn from it are just, I mean, the way that series was ended was just done so fantastically, and there were so many, all the books were like leading up to this giant conclusion, and you're thinking like, how are they possibly gonna end this? And the tone was so different because they didn't even go to Hogwarts that year, and just, it was the first time that I'd really read a series and had that like finale moment where it ended, and I remember just being so devastated when it was over, because I was like, that's it, like that's the end of Harry Potter, this book series that I've been invested in for 5 years, and I just think the ending was so well done. Eyebrows, a book that you think everyone should read. I really love the Benefit Goof Proof Eyebrow Pencil. I definitely want to go with books that I don't normally talk about a lot on my channel, even though the last few books I picked were kind of like obvious, well-known ones, and this one is well-known, but I guess maybe less talked about, and that is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. The Lord of the Rings is definitely like a classic fantasy, kind of like almost like the start of fantasy as a genre, and I mean like the movies are classic, and everything about it is just so well-known. And the reason that I even picked up The Hobbit is because I was talking with one of my favorite teachers in high school, and we were talking about reading, and I was just like, what books would you recommend that I read? And he's like, I think everyone should read The Hobbit. And so that I went out and I bought The Hobbit and I read it. And I think I like The Hobbit better than the Lord of the Rings books, just because those books are very, very dense, and The Hobbit I think is a little bit more accessible. But it's such like a classic adventure journey, and I think it's a really good way for people that I think, you know, for this one, a book that everyone should read, and I want to recommend fantasy. Like, my normal run-of-the-mill YA fantasy books aren't going to be books that maybe everyone would gravitate towards, but I think that there's a lot in The Hobbit that people that aren't fantasy readers can still grasp onto and relate to and really enjoy the story. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this book. Okay, eyeshadow. So my eyeshadow is going to take a while, so we'll do the question first, and that is pick a book with your favorite colors on the cover. So my favorite colors, I have like blue is my favorite color, purples and pinks. I picked Gemini because this color blue is like my favorite thing ever. I love the colors and just like the texture of the colors on the cover. These books themselves are just gorgeous. So I'm using the Naked Urban Decay Heat palette, and I really like this palette. I got it for Christmas, I think. What I think I'm gonna try and do is have Lumbre, this one Lumbre on the lid, and then Scorched on the outer lid. This is like a highlight color up in the brows. So I just put it on like my lid and then up into the crease, and then Scorched. The darker color is gonna go on the outer lid, but also like in the crease, so it's gonna blend in the middle. I really love like bright, bold eyeshadow, and especially like oranges and browns go really well with blue eyes. So it almost looks kind of ombre-ish. Highlight color, because now it kind of looks like random, and I just take the lightest color on here. For eyeliner, I do Tardiest eyeliner, and it has like a pencil and a liquid, but I use the liquid one. And I'm definitely not gonna be able to look at the camera while I do my eyeliner, but it's fine. While I talk about the question for eyeliner, I'm going to try and smoke out under my eyes. This one is pick a dark and mysterious book. And for this one, I'm going to go with The Queen of the Night by Alexandra Chee. I picked up this one because it's about an orphan that somehow ends up in the opera. In high school, I did choir, so I really like opera, and like I like learning about the different types of singers and stuff. So she's like this really rare voice type that all of the classic big dramatic soprano roles. She's like the most sought out singer for them. The honor would be to have an original role written for her. Well, someone gives her the libretto or like the songbook for this opera that they are writing for her, and she turns out it's based on like her dark and mysterious past, and it's just set at like the height of the Paris Opera, and there's like a lot of mystery and like dark stuff that occurs, and like passion and obsession. And I, as someone that likes opera and likes reading, I thought it was really good. I think like it's just well executed, and the stuff that happens, like, it's crazy. So if you're into like opera, or even if you're not into opera, you're just into dark and thrilling books, definitely give that one a shot. So next we have mascara. For mascara, I use Bad Girl Bang by Benefit, and I just picked this up because I got a sample at Ulta, and I was like, oh wow, this is some good mascara. So then I bought it. For this one, it's pick a long book because we want some long lashes. I have to go with A Dance with Dragons by George R.R. Martin. These books are ginormous, and I spent a whole summer reading all of the Game of Thrones books, and let me tell you, they took me a long time, and especially this book because it is almost 1,000 pages. I am glad that I read the books because they do differ from the TV show. I love the TV show a lot. So it was really good getting kind of like both of them. But are The Winds of Winter ever going to be released? Let me know. Although he is coming out with Fire and Blood with this, which is a Targaryen like history book, and you know what, I love me some good Targaryen history, so I'm definitely gonna be picking it up. I'm just like annoyed that The Winds of Winter is not published yet, because the ending of the series overall is gonna be out next year when the series ends, and there's still 2 more books. But you know, I think since they converged a lot of storylines, I think it's gonna go differently in the book than in the TV show. So it will still be good to enjoy both of them, but the TV show is definitely still going to have the same overall ending. This is a little bit darker than I usually go for, but I'm doing a dramatic look today. So next is contour, and I have this Smashbox contour palette. Pick a book that surprised you with how much depth it had. For this question, I definitely have to go with Crooked Kingdom. Like, I was just expecting some like fun Grishaverse heist stuff, and boy, it was that, but it was so much more because all of the characters have such intricate backstories and well-defined personalities, and the way that they interact with each other is just like okay, this is a little much. I'm gonna fix that. Yeah, that is too defined. The way that they interact with each other is just, and their backstories, and the way that it all comes together to the conclusion in the end, it like absolutely floored me. Just like talking about like all the issues that they went through, and like there's a lot of representation for like disabilities and different ethnicities, and just like all the horrible things that all these characters went through. Like, that book really just had me shook on so many levels. Okay, I need to fix this contour. On the jaw. Okay. I know it looks like silly when it's just contour, but trust me, the next step will make this look not like a giant line on my face of mud. So next we have blush, which is what helps fix this contour so it doesn't look like this in the end. And I use Tarte blush in Glisten, so just like a natural everyday pinky whatever color. So for blush, we have Pick a Cringe-Worthy Romance. Oh my Lanta, is this romance cringy. Like, I don't even know what more to say. I don't want to spoil anything, but like if you read the book, you know there are some moments, and I originally read that book when I was 16, and I did not find it as cringy reading it as an adult, maybe because like I had hope for like how it was gonna turn out, and I ended up being right. But like knowing the end result, but like knowing like how they should act with the information that they have, like they should not have been, Jace should not have been saying things to Clary that he was saying to her about them like I can't give anything away because like this is all stuff they find out in like the first and second book, but like whew, in that book their romance was just so cringy, and like there were some moments I was like, this is not okay, like why was this like approved? And I think that there's a reason that no one else has tried to use that same romance trope, because yes, it did work in the Mortal Instruments, but there were some moments that I was like, what? How did this fly? I don't know. So yeah, as you can see, I have blended in the contour with the blush and then also just going over it with some foundation, so it's not like a line of whatever across my face anymore. We have highlighter. I love highlighter. I am like, give me the most wattage highlighter you can. I love to be sparkly. So I use the Becca Cosmetics highlighter in Champagne Pop. I got this for my birthday because it is a little bit pricier, but like it is just so worth it for the amount of sparkle that you get. And this one is Pick a Book That Brightened Your Day, and I have to go with Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. It's not often that you find a fantasy book that just makes you happy. Most of the time there's also really sad things that happen, and like they're kind of tragic. So yeah, I like to just like dabble along to get it the most sparkle that I can. And yeah, so with that book, it's just like, it's like a contemporary set in a fantasy world. I mean, like Rainbow Rowell is a mostly contemporary writer, and so it just is like, my little babies, Simon and Baz, are my favorites, and it's like, you have like this fantasy world, but it's just like so fun and lighthearted and cute, and I adore it. It brightens my day for sure. Next step we have is lipstick. Ooh. The lipstick that I'm using today is ColourPop Ultra Matte Lip in Times Square, and it looks like this, but it actually dries kind of purpley, but it looks good with this shirt. Since the matte ColourPop lipsticks are very, very drying, I use Lippy Sticks Primer over it. Your favorite book kiss. I just love Aelin and Rowan in this book, all of their interactions, and when they finally kiss, it's just, it kills me. Their relationship, like I was really unsure of it in Air of Fire, and then by the time I got to Queen of Shadows, I was like, yes, Rowan. Like, I don't know, I'm like such trash for Sarah J Maas books. Like, I don't know, they are like fantasy and then they have a lot of romance in them, and you wanna know what? I enjoy a good romance set in a fantasy world. I think ACOTAR is a little bit more heavy on the romance than Throne of Glass, but still Throne of Glass has a lot of romance. Especially Empire Storms has like 10,000 couples in it for whatever reason. Yeah, so I just read that whole series. I have a reading vlog of me reading the whole series for the first time. I will link that. Probably shouldn't talk while I'm doing my lipstick. So yeah, I'm just trash for the romances in Sarah J Maas novels. They're such guilty pleasures, and people are so divided on whether or not they like Sarah J Maas novels, but you wanna know what? It's just so fun, and I love the fantasy aspect of it. And while I can like acknowledge that there are some problems with the way that she writes her characters, like I think the men are very like hyper masculine. Yeah, just like some little things, but it doesn't take away from my overall enjoyment of the series. But anyways, I'm gonna wait for this lipstick to dry so you guys can see like what the actual color is supposed to be like, and then I'll show you my final step in doing my makeup. Okay, so as you can see, so the last step that I do for my makeup is I just have setting spray, and I just use the NYX spray. You have it in a dewy finish or matte finish that you can get at Target, so some good drugstore brands, and I just spray it everywhere. Here I am. This is definitely a dramatic nighttime look because I'm going out to dinner with my family, and I love doing big dramatic like eyeshadow, lip, highlight, whatever. I love dramatic makeup, so I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me do my makeup and talking about books a little bit more casually, I suppose. So have some fun, read some books, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.